I'm Alan Kenny, Editorial Director with REIT.com, and we're in New York for REITWeek 2015, NAREIT's Investor Forum. Join me is Randy Churchey, Chairman and CEO of EdR. So, Randy, I want to start off talking about internal growth. What are some of the ways that your company uses its existing portfolio to drive results?
Alan, it would surprise many people, but over the last 10 years, student housing, same-store net operating income has increased a CAGR of 4.3%, while multifamily has increased only 4%. And over the last 5 years, EdR has produced a 4.3% increase in same-store NOI as well. So what we use is a system called our pilot system, which is a homegrown system that is a revenue optimization system. And what it does on a daily basis is monitor all of our properties, the leasing velocity of it and our competitors, and recommends price increases or decreases depending on the property type, the bed type, and so forth. So our system, we spent a lot of money and time and effort in it. We think it's state-of-the-art, and by our results, I think it proves it is best in class.
Looking at the acquisitions market, how are you finding things? And are there any specific universities, areas, types of properties that you're targeting?
We're not targeting specific properties, if you will, but look, in all real estate sectors, there's a lot of cash chasing after acquisitions. And as an owner of $2.5 billion worth of student housing assets, that's a good thing. The more liquidity means better pricing for the assets that I own. But we were having a difficult time finding acquisitions that meet our yield hurdles. So what we look for is the location primarily. It needs to be pedestrian to campus. When a student gets out of their apartment and has to drive to campus and go through the hassles of parking and so forth at the college campus, that diminishes the value of the real estate. So we're looking at assets that are at large, growing universities, say enrollment's greater than 15,000, but specifically the location needs to be pedestrian to campus.
And we've talked a lot in the past about the growing role of REITs in the U.S. student housing market. How big of a role do you think that REITs actually can end up playing? How much room is there for ownership by REITs?
I think there's plenty. Today, the three public REITs own less than 5% of the purpose-built student housing assets. So there's plenty of room to go. I think we could get to as large as 20%. I see no reason why you cannot. When you look at a typical college campus, 25% of the students live on campus. 25% of the students live in purpose-built student housing like we do, like we own. And 50% of the students live in passive single-family homes, duplexes, and the like. A lot of those students in that latter category are migrating to purpose-built student housing. So we think the share of the pie is going to grow of purpose-built student housing, and we think we can grow our share of the market share much larger.
Randy, always a pleasure.
Alan, my pleasure. Thank you.
And for more on this and other REIT news and analysis, be sure to visit REIT.com.